Hello and welcome to day 2 of the summer tour for me vlog. So today was a good day, an interesting one. Got out this morning bright and early to Soldier Field. Got to walk around the stadium a bit for a minute. Head on in, set up in a press conference room, go to some open training. Very short, very brief. See some players there, see some people working. Get to a press conference, take part in that as well, which was a fantastic experience. And then in addition to that, obviously, just being around everything and everyone and all of that was just great. And so I'm going to put from here, after this little introduction, I'm going to put, the video, the footage that I have there is going to be all of that walking through, doing it, taking part in the press conference, and then some post thoughts as I was walking out of the stadium. I apologize because it's like super close up. I've got the handheld thing. I'm just walking for 8-9 minutes afterwards, to talk about the day, talk about some conversations, that I had, talk about my take, my understanding of how things are going at United this summer, how things are feeling, where things are at, and put that all together. So there is some news in there, that I think is worth listening to in terms of where we're at this summer, where we're at on transfers, where things are going, and what comes next, including on the striker, perhaps the goalkeeper, the general makeup of the squad. I thought Ruben Amorim's comments in the press conference, from things that I've heard, conversations that I've had, were really telling as to kind of the strategy here and what they're trying to do. So stick around, watch that rest of the video. Good few minutes of just some basic coverage, some film, things like that, and then my thoughts at the end, and that will be day 2 of the vlog. And enjoy. So here it is. Soldier Field, where United will be holding practice and, of course, a game on Wednesday. Some pretty interesting architecture on the outside, kind of like a coliseum,
He just must be on that side. I don't know. Hey guys. Ready to go. Some stadium, some section. Hi guys.
Hello.
Good.
Because we have 2 minutes left and we'll head outside.
Before the season starts. So they can play as a striker. We have Josh, we have Rasmus. So our focus is to improve the connection between them. I don't know if the position are there for them. They have to work. They have other players that are fighting for that position. But again, I'm really pleased because they prove that the qualities that they have. They are really humble. That is really important, and the best thing that they chose to be here. They had other options, Champions League options, and they read everything people say about our club in the moment, but they chose to be here, and that is a key point for me.
And can you play as a number 9 as well?
Yeah, it's like I say already. It's very easy in question to answer because him is a big part of this kind of decision, of course. Like I say, United was always my dream club, and when you can make your dream come true is easy decision to do. But of course, like everything inside of the club, he was one of the big part. Talk to me always, and then show how important I am for him. And of course, I feel very loved for that. And yeah, it's easy to take a choice after everything.
All right, so here walking out of Soldier Field, just finished with the press conference, just finished with the open training, all of that. Yeah, it was a really, really interesting day overall. Very, very good experience as well. Really happy with how things turned out. Had a while of wait in there, delayed. They started up training a bit late, so there was initially a plan to do a bit more, get the press out there for a bit more of the training, so we'd see a little bit, but they were still warming up when we got out there. So it was not as much of the training as we'd maybe like to see, but they had to get through the full training. They did a real complete session out there, which was important. Obviously, as a team, are flying just after this to head down over to New York right away. And then they're going to stay the night there, and then they will be back on after the game on Saturday. So obviously they needed to get that full training today and all of that done. But yeah, the vibes were really good. The atmosphere really good. It's definitely been a major focus of Ruben's to fix that up, to improve things, to make sure that it's as good as can be. The other thing is that, it's just there's a definite feeling that last summer, the way that things were running, just truthfully, too many cooks in the kitchen, too many people, making the same, decisions and talking about different things. And that's much, much better this year. So, the overall decision making, the hierarchy, there was too much change, too much chaos, too many things that, that were in flux at the moment. And now it's a lot more settled. And that's one of the main reasons they feel very good about where things are at now. Much more settled environment, much more settled atmosphere, very clear plan from the top all the way down, through with and regarding, Amorim, the team, the recruitment, everything. That the states of change are finally kind of reaching their end. And, so we should be able to see things improve a little bit. Got to hustle, not get hit by a bus here. So that's really good. Ruben, really happy with the business that they've got done so far. Really happy with that. Almost got run over by the hot dog truck. Really happy with the business they've done so far. Definitely emphasizing on the Premier League proven. Definitely emphasizing as well on competition this year. Having multiple players for multiple positions competing really well. Very much excited about his Kobbie Mainoo answer as well in the press conference, talking about how, Kobbie was, he's got big plans for him. He kind of insinuated, I think, that he's going to want him deeper. That's kind of the impression that I got anyway, which I think is a better role for him as well. More near the ball. That's kind of the point. Some sort of the same answer he gave about Bruno, about how he wants Bruno on the ball, and that's why he puts him deeper. But he said when he put him deeper before, then they don't have a 10. Well, now he's got 2. So, Kobbie just needs to improve in the speed of action, thought, things like that, essentially, overall. For more business this year, this summer, United have a little money. That's what I've been told. United have a little money. They could do something now, but they're not able to invest significantly into a striker right now. It is still something they really want. But as expected, I can definitely say and confirm that the ideal scenario that they're working towards and hoping can happen is one involving Alejandro Garnacho. That the value that he brings and his valuation and the fact that they're interested in a couple of players who are at the, a couple clubs that are interested in him is something that works well. And that's definitely a scenario that, that they're willing to play out and be a little bit patient with, because it represents probably the ideal situation for them. They are interested in both, Ollie Watkins and Nicholas Jackson, obviously the players at Chelsea and Aston Villa, and they definitely feel that both clubs are interested in Alejandro Garnacho. So, the club's sort of ideal plan here, if they're going to be able to invest significantly in a number 9 this summer, is to get Garnacho the move. It's not close at the moment, but that is really plan A, is get Garnacho that move to one of those clubs potentially, and bring a striker in. That would be the best case scenario, from one of them. They're interested certainly in both, but the valuations have to be right. They have to be the right amount of money. They have to be, priced right. United can't go and say, you sell Garnacho and then spend an extra 50 million. No, they're going to need the valuations to be pretty close on those players. And so, that's the scenario that they're working with as a best case one. On the goalkeeper front as well, there's interest for sure in a goalkeeper. Very, very, very likely, almost certain that Andre stays this summer. They have Onana, they have Bayindir, they have Heaton. They really can't sign one and wouldn't expect to sign one without one of them departing, but they'll need some interest in one of these keepers, and nothing yet is particularly close on that front. But certainly an area that needs addressing, certainly area I think there's a recognition that something is wanted in there, that more options are wanted, that someone like Lamens is wanted. There have been conversations about a few different keepers that we know about, of course, but at the moment, nothing has actually, they're not on the cusp of getting anything, and it is expected to be that they'll need to let somebody go in order to bring someone in. So a little bit of a hurry up and wait type of situation, but they do feel really, really strongly that getting Cunha and Mbeumo over the line was priority number 1, getting 2 top forwards in, and they think they've done really good business since that. And now that that's happened, doesn't mean they can settle, but that things are much improved. Ruben obviously said that, if the players aren't sold, if they're not gone, that they could potentially return to the group. But obviously the priority is to move them on. I think a very clear, and understandable attempt to counteract the idea that they'd be available for cheap. They probably would return to the group if clubs are not offering the money. But again, when you kind of factor in the other bit here of that they do want a striker, and they do, the best leverage that they have is the Garnacho thing. I think it's important, especially he's noting, really specifically referring to Garnacho in that instance, in my opinion anyway. That's my take on it. To send a message to clubs, you got to pay, you got to value Garnacho at what he's worth. You got to, if you're valuing your guys, Jackson, whoever, at 60, 70, then you've got to get Garnacho a lot closer to that. You've got to value him at the number we want for him. I believe that number to be closer to 50 million pounds, and that's what they would be looking to get, and that would essentially help facilitate one of those deals. So a clear message, clear ideas. Somewhat of the tough work begins on the next phase of transfers at this point. But still a lot to do. Either way, big focus on the environment, on the atmosphere, on the training, on the players that they've brought in, on having good competition, and all right, there you have it. So that was day 2 of the vlog. Those are my thoughts. Obviously, fresh as I was walking out of the stadium. Just wanted to give my take on things. Obviously, when I look at the press conference as a whole, few things are important to me, and a few things definitely align with conversations that I've been having, and just on the summer, on the team, on the club in general as a whole, where things are at. Number one is that obviously getting the right players, proven players, players who can come in, make an impact right away has been fundamental to the summer's decision making. Like Ruben Amorim was talking about being very careful about the signings. They want people who really want to be at United, who aren't looking to go elsewhere, who are would join even despite the situation. That's really important as well. Obviously, referring to a few players that turned us down on that front. But also, like, we cannot waste money. He very much understands the finances that we're at. Every player we sign has to be a hit, has to succeed, has to be worth the money that we're paying, has to improve the team. That is really, really important because United's budget is certainly far from unlimited right now. And, that was important. Squad, the mood, the vibes, all of that was important. Having options and competition, huge for Ruben Amorim. I was going to put together a video about this as well, about his feelings on competition, because not only does Ruben in the way that he shapes the team, the way that he puts things together, he needs players pushing each other, challenging each other for positions. And the players that he have are not only impactful, but will provide that competition. I've not heard anything but more than massive praise, specifically for the character of Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo coming in. Not to say Diego Leon isn't, but specifically for them as more experienced players coming in. Everything has been just amazing on that front from what I've heard about them, and I believe that Amorim is really impressed with both, and definitely with Mbeumo in there as well. So that's really positive to hear. As I shared in those kind of post thoughts, striker search definitely still on. Definitely still something they would like to do, but United need the finances. That is fundamental here. They need the money. And the Garnacho situation was it was interesting because, the press conference, a lot of comments about that, about, everything. And United needs some leverage in this. And I believe him. Garnacho wants to play in the World Cup. Well, he better find a way to get a move, and to play football. And that's some pressure on him. But also, if he'll come back and be in competition 1 game a week, I think that's the point. Going to be behind a lot of players, but they're willing to keep him. And I think he's being honest when he says they're happy with the business that they've done, because they'd rather not sign more players and get the wrong ones or put themselves in danger than not. They'd rather not do that at all than just rush to panic on some signings. But they do want a striker. The money is vital. Goalkeeper could certainly be a topic there too. So yeah, that's what we've got. I'll probably do a little live later today, but that's where we are for now. I hope you found it interesting, and tomorrow we will go again with some new content over in New Jersey. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you.